To all the younger women out there in their mid-20s and younger, I am so sorry if this is the type of thing that you're having to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Sweets aren't the same, they've not got sugar, they've not got E-numbers, clubs are piss, everything's crap. You would think that you'd be able to go out and find yourself a decent man. By what's been presented on Love Island, you don't even have that. No wonder so many people are on antidepressants now. Anyway, in episode 3 of Man-Child Island, let's start with Ben. Last night I was watching this with my partner and he said, I cannot understand a fucking word he's saying. I had to translate. It was literally like Adrian from Maths Australia, only worse. And I could understand what he was saying. I thought he's just like a London guy. But the more I was actually trying to translate, the harder it was getting for me to understand. It got to the point where it was like... And I thought, what the fuck? Like, am I just not understanding him because he says he can't understand him? It was actually baffling. And then my partner said, there's no way he talks like that, that's a fake voice he's using. I thought he was being quite harsh, but then when I went on TikTok this morning, the first video that came up was his hair transplant video. And he was speaking perfectly normal. I could understand every word he was saying. He wasn't mumbling. I went into the comments and people were absolutely ripping him to bits. Now, I must admit, I don't like the guy. But people were slagging him because he's a taxi driver. And I thought, do you know what, at least the guy's got a job. People were slagging him because he got a hair transplant. And I think it's really great for a guy to go online and say that he got a hair transplant and show other guys that it's normal for people to lose their hair, and also like the whole process of getting a hair transplant. I don't really understand why people were ripping into him for that. But obviously in the comments people were saying he's the one who says Shakira needed humbled. He's walking about as if he's a fucking model. He is. He's so confident. And I'm all about confidence and I don't mind people being overconfident, but I don't know where he gets it from. Also in that video, he showed his brother and people were saying, oh, that's somebody for Survival of the Fittest or whatever show that I don't watch. That explains why he is the way he is. Now, let's be honest, he's an absolute dick. I don't understand why anybody would like him. Admittedly, he does have quite a nice body. I'll give him that. His personality is an absolute fucking... Has he even got a personality? Anyway, point being, it's one thing to rip somebody to bits. It's quite another to rip the piss out their job and to rip the piss because they needed a hair transplant or whatever. But, aye, okay, he's a dick. But let's just take a step back sometimes. At least he's trying. When he was paired up with Shakira, he acted as if he didn't even like her. And then when they says, oh, how's the couple going or whatever, and he says, oh, it's a love-hate relationship, absolutely ripping her to bits and making out as if he wasn't interested. And now all of a sudden that she's with Harry, he's like a fucking bee on a flower. She can't get him away. She's like, fuck off, you weirdo. He took her into the hideaway and he says, oh, I could invite you in here and you would come in. Just so confident. Actually, fuck off. And do you know what? I didn't like Shakira the first 2 episodes. There was no reason why I didn't like her. I didn't know why. She kind of grew on me this episode a wee bit. Even Shakira and the girls were saying he only wants what he can't have because he didn't act interested when he had her. Shakira was telling the girls that she wasn't 100% about her choice. She hadn't really made up her mind yet. She didn't know she was going to pick Blue. Like, she didn't have enough time to really get to know people. Which was fair enough, right? But obviously she's paired up with Harry at the moment. So she's still getting to know the other boys, which is fair enough. That's what the show's all about. Tony and Ben were sitting talking to Harry and somebody else. And Tony was saying, oh, next time the boys won't be safe. And Ben took a fucking hissy fit. It was so weird. And then when he walked away, he did this wee like footballer run. And I was like, what the fuck was that? Harry says, what was that? Why did he just freak out there over nothing? It was so bizarre. He was talking to a group of them and he says that Tony gave him the ick. And I was like, you've gave half the fucking nation the ick, you fuckbag. When Shakira told Tony what he said, Tony pulled him for a chat. And when she says, oh, if I'm giving you the ick, tell me. And he's like, okay, you're giving me the ick. And she says, oh, you're giving me the ick. And he's like, oh, you're only saying that because of... Fucking open your mouth when you speak. So Ben was basically like, oh, I'm not into you, there's no spark. If the spark's not there straight away, it's not going to be there, you'd be surprised. Whatever other shite he was talking, right? And then she was winding him up and she's like, can't wait to stay in bed with you tonight. At the time, I thought I kind of liked Tony, but then later when she was speaking to Connor, she says that she likes acts of service, but she wants her bottle filled up, she doesn't want to fill up his, and she says that the men should be cooking in the morning. The men should be cooking in the morning. The men should be cooking in the morning. Fuck up, Tony. Absolutely fuck up. I can't be bothered with women like this. Women fight for equality, right? And then they'll turn around and go, oh, the man should do this for me. The man should do that. The man should cook. And what the fuck are you bringing to the table, bitch? It's equality for all. Honestly, I can't stand it. I literally cannot fucking stand it. My partner cooks for me because he's a better cook. My partner is better at gift giving. He's better at, like, literally everything than what I am. But if I get a chance to do something for him, I'm doing it. I don't think, oh, well, he's a man, so he must cook for me. He must give me acts of service. Fuck off. And now I instantly just don't like it, to be honest. And when she pulled Dijon for a chat, she was talking about him moving to Vegas. And she says, you can do your job anywhere, I can't. And I was thinking to myself, you know what, if anybody out there wants to send me to Vegas, on you go, because it's my favourite place in the entire world. But let's be honest, let's say she meets somebody in that house and they fall in love and they want to be together. What person for the UK in their right mind, realistically, would want to move to America permanently? You would have to be insane. Unless you were a multi-millionaire and you didn't have to worry about healthcare, you didn't have to worry about getting pregnant, you didn't have to worry about, like, surviving, then maybe. But realistically, you would have to be insane. Connor says to Helena that he felt bad for standing up. Did he feel bad for standing up, or did he just feel bad because he didn't get picked? If Helena was out that door, he'd be over it by now. Shakira and Harry were talking about Sophie getting sent home, and I had seen a small clip of the Love Island podcast, and it's like the two people who used to be on it and some guy, and one of the girls said she shouldn't have sent Sophie home because the friends that you make in there are like your anchor, they support you, they're your friends for life. But it's Love Island at the end of the day, and not only that, they'd only been in there for like a day. So okay, maybe it was a bit shit that she sent her friend home, but with that being said, if she was interested in Harry, she still would have been trying to get into her pal's man anyway. So early on, like, really, would it matter if you sent your friend home? Let me know what you think in the comments. Sophie was asked if she found Ben attractive, and she says, oh, all the guys in here are attractive. Are they? Are they? Let me know in the comments what one of the men you find attractive. Obviously, I'm an older woman, so I don't fancy any of them. But just you share your opinion. You don't have to share your age. You don't even have to share your gender. Just let me know in the comments what one of these men you find attractive. And if you do find them attractive, what do you think of their personality? So we got two new bombshells, and I genuinely try not to be a cunt, right? I genuinely try not to be a cunt. But they walked in, and I pulled this face, and I looked at my partner, and they were pulling the same face, and he just went, oh, for fuck's sake. And I just didn't say anything. Ramel said something like, men envy me because of my physique, and I says to my partner, is that a thing? And he says, aye, only if the guy's insecure. I've never seen my partner mention any other guy's body in that kind of way. She said, I've got the height, true. I've got the body, okay. I've got the looks. Next. Again, these people are too young for me. Ignore my opinions. He was getting to know the girls and he was sitting there pure pan-faced, trying to be mysterious. He was doing my fucking head in. Then later they were playing dares and Alima made it clear that she fancied him, and he's like, oh, feelings mutual, right? So then when they were playing dares, they had to stand up and say a secret about themselves that nobody knew. Nobody knows anything about them, they've just met. And he says, oh, I slept with 5 people in one night. Maybe shouldn't have opened with that. But this is the problem with these guys. They're coming onto this show, oh, I had 11 women on the go, oh, I slept with 5 people in one night. Nobody gives a fuck. If anything, you're making women like you even less, if that's possible. No wonder you're fucking single. At least something actually happened in this episode. Let me know what you thought of it, and I'll see you again tonight. Bye!